Hi, I'm Rob from Intuitive Care, and in this video I'm going to show you how to add your daily diaries or logs in our foster carer app. I'm going to start this video by showing you the app on a PC view, and halfway through we're going to add another log, and I'll show you how to do that on a mobile device like a phone or a Galaxy Pad. It works exactly the same, it's just the view's slightly different. Okay, no matter where you land when you come into the app, navigate through the menus and come to your daily log activities. Okay, when we land on the log screen here, we've got various filters that we can play with depending on what we're looking for, what we want to do. This button here is how to add a diary item or an activity. We can use these buttons here to filter down to say, actually, I only want to see one child or, multiple children. And that's an easy way of going back and checking back through your activities. We have this drop down here, which we can use to filter past activities. And come back here, we've got this list view and diary view. The diary view is just basically a calendar view, and every time you can see a 1 here, it shows me that a log has been recorded for that particular young person. So this is really there to give you an idea as to whether you're getting a bit behind on the logs and if there's any sort of gaps really in what you're doing. I'm going to come back to the list view, and I can filter to say just show me today's logs, yesterday's, or all logs. Clicking all I need to do is just scroll down through the page. Obviously on a touchscreen device you can just do that on your finger, or on a PC you can use the wheel on your mouse or this scroller on the side. So let's have a look at adding a log. Click the add activity button. We set our date and time, and again with this we can just flick through with our finger or using the mouse to flick through the dates, and we can change the date and time however we want. When we're happy with the date and time that we've set, click done, and then we need to select the activity type. Now this needs a little bit of explanation. We've worked with your agency to decide what this list should look like. The idea behind this is a lot of systems might have 7 headings, and they expect you at the end of each day to record a little bit under each of the 7 headings. They may be outcome related or linked to other things. What Intuitive Care does is just say, go about your normal day and record the sort of things that you've done during the day. And then we'll kind of do the evidencing in terms of what they relate to in the background. And you can see more about that in a separate video, which is called Why We Record Logs the Way We Do Them. So in this instance I'm going to show you now, we're going to say that we all had a trip out and we all went to the beach. So I click the trip out activity, I've set the date and time for now, and as I scroll down you can see I've got the pictures of the children that I'm looking after. If we don't have pictures, then you can see we've got initials. So if that's the case, please make sure the agency's got an up-to-date picture of your young person with a good sort of full face view like we can see here. But anyway, we're going to click on the pictures of everybody that went to the beach. So here we're going to say pretty much everybody went, and now all I do is record what happened at the beach. You can write as much or as little as you would like, or is in line with your agency policy on how they want the logs recorded. The general idea on Intuitive Care though is we don't want logs to be onerous. There will obviously be occasions when you need to write a longer log. Let's say there's been a day at school that hasn't gone so successfully for a young person, and you might need to write a bit more about how it was disrupted, or maybe there might be supervised family time and you need to put a bit more detail. So use your common sense. But the idea here is you do little and often. So if during the course of the day something happened at school, you took the young person to the doctors and they had contact with their parents, we'd expect 3 logs. One for a brief description as to what's happened at each of those events or each of those things. Once you've written up your log, you then also have the option of adding a picture. I won't go through that on here because most of us are used to that through WhatsApp and Messenger. It works exactly the same. You can click to upload an image, and it will either give you access to the camera on your phone or your photo library. Whenever you're ready to complete the log, you can click Save. Now I can come back and edit that log anytime I want just by clicking on it. I can do that up until the point when the agency has marked it for approval. And I can see the logs that have been marked for approval because they get a little green smiley face against them. Let's say on this trip we've involved everybody, so by ticking all of their pictures I don't need to do 5 separate individual records for each of these young people. So this will now put a link into this log into all of their records. If I come and update this log, it will update the records for all of them. So you need to be a little bit careful when writing your logs that you're not disclosing information about other children. So let's say at the end of the beach trip, one of these young people has a period of dysregulation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the phone view and we'll just have a look and see how it works on the phone view. So okay, this is how it looks on the phone. Of course, we've got our menu items there that I can navigate to the daily logs or whatever part of the system I need. But we were going to add another record just involving just one young person. So once again, I go back to the activity, select the most appropriate activity. This list of activities is controlled by your agency, so they can be added to, or items can be removed as either you or the agency desire. So if you have any recommendations for changes, please discuss them in support groups, and when we get instructions to change, we can change it. Some foster carers prefer more, some foster carers prefer less, so the decision on what this list looks like and how things are named is always led by your agency. So what I'm going to do is call this an important event to inform the agency about. Your agency might call this a period of dysregulation or something similar, or emotional presentation. However you do it, it's got to be within line of your policy and procedures within the agency. So if you're not sure, please seek advice from your link worker or supervising social worker. We were going to leave the beach. Poor little old Bobby here had a period of dysregulation. I've now only just ticked his picture, so it means this record will only appear on his file. I'm logged in as Stacey, and because I'm the author, I'll also get a copy of this record appear on my file as well. So now all I need to do is just add the log in the true Blue Peter style. Here's one I completed earlier. So you just write whatever's happened, and so we've now got this log involving Stacey, Bobby. We've recorded it as an important event to inform the agency about, and you put as much detail in there as you need. Obviously there are a number of event types, maybe contact with family, disruption at school, key meetings where you might have to write a longer record, but the idea is it's not every record. So if there's a young person, they just gone to the doctors and dentist and everything's fine, you can say, dentist, it's a checkup, everything was fine, you needed no treatment today. And there's a subtle thing as well that you might have noticed in my record keeping. The modern way of doing your logs is to write to the young people, not about the young people. So you wouldn't say Bobby went to their dentist today and he had his tooth out. You would say, I took you to the dentist today and you took your tooth out and you were great. Remember positives. Doesn't mean that you can't record the negatives in here, because you've got to be truthful and honest with the information that you record in your logs, but you just need to be careful about how you record that information. So you can say, today wasn't such a good day at school today, you really struggled. You're not saying, you were absolutely horrendous at school. A lot of this would be covered in your training, of course, record keeping. So I'd just say use your common sense. These young people are going to come back and they are going to read their records in years to come. You've all had the input and training from the agency, so you should be careful about what you're recording. But you're not expected to write War and Peace on every record. The idea is you use this as an app, you update stuff as you go through the day, and if that's the way you want to do it, fine. If you do want to sit down at the end of the night and do it, you can do it at the end of the night. Question we quite often get asked is people who do weekly records or monthly records. I don't think monthly records are good at all. They don't protect you as foster carers. But the idea here is, why would you wait to the end of the week or the end of the month to record that on Tuesday a young person went to the doctors? Making it easier to do it, you can do it as you go along, like you might send a text message or a WhatsApp message. So hopefully it shouldn't really make too much difference to you if you are on that reduced record, because it's not going to actually mean that you're recording more, and also it means that you're less likely to forget things. And by doing records weekly or monthly, sadly, human nature being the way it is, we're more likely to remember the negatives than positives. Anyway, hopefully that's given you a good insight into how we do the logs. We will be producing a video that will say why we do it this way, because what I'd like you to do is to be able to see the background on how your records look on the other side of the system, and how we use those in intuitive care to evidence the best practice and good practice that you do. So if you have any ideas, any suggestions, we welcome feedback on the app. We really do. This is a tool that we want to help you and try and make your lives easier as foster carers. Please discuss it in support groups. Please get your agency to feedback to us. And if it's possible, we'll make it happen. Thanks a lot for your time, and we hope you enjoy using the app. All the best.